Welcome to Dodgers Daily. I'm Casey Porter. I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, we have a great show for you today. It was a busy Sunday afternoon. Kind of disappointing. The Los Angeles Dodgers got off to a bad start. Great Lakes, they didn't win their game either. But hey, the AAA Oklahoma City Dodgers, they have been an absolute blast to follow this year. They won again. They've only lost 2 games, and they've come from behind in several of their games. They did it again on Sunday. Wandersuero looked great as he closed out the 10th inning. Hunterfeduccia had a big day for them. And so AAA Oklahoma City, they have a lot of guys that are knocking on the door of helping the big club, a big club that, simply put, had a disappointing Sunday afternoon, had a disappointing 3 games in a row in the desert. And I'll tell you what, we're going to get to all that. But just a reminder before we do, if you like this video, and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, and become a subscriber. And after you subscribe, click that notification bell. That way you'll get notifications every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video. You won't miss a thing. Dodgers Daily can keep growing, and we can keep providing you content and videos like this in the future, as we love to do. Okay, like we said, it was a disappointing Sunday for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Michael Grove got the start, and point blank, there's just no way to sugarcoat it. I talked about it. In his first performance of the year, he got unlucky. Simply put, Sunday afternoon, he got hit. It was a disappointing performance. There's no other way to put it. I am very big on Michael Grove's talent. I'm very big on the type of pitcher I think eventually he will become at the major league level, but, just not a good performance. He left a lot of breaking balls up that got hit. And I'll tell you what, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they are the exact type of team I love to watch, because all they're looking for is the middle of the baseball. They just want to hit a hard ground ball, a hard line drive, just hit something hard. Just don't swing and miss with 2 strikes. And I'll tell you what, those types of teams, they're pesky, they're tough to get out, and they're very frustrating as a pitcher, because you have to make 3, 4, sometimes 5 good pitches to get them out, and it's just hard to do over and over and over. It's called putting pressure on the pitcher, and then they're always putting pressure on the defense. So, part of it was just a bad matchup too. But, I think Michael will be the first one to tell you that disappointing outing for him. But, hey, we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into the Los Angeles game. We're also going to talk about all the minor leagues here, in this video as well. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Dodgers baseball. Okay, so through the course of 162 games, every single one of them matters. The first game of the year matters the same as the last game. I don't care what anybody says. They all count as one win. Now, as you go to count down, you start looking at different scenarios down the stretch. Then you start placing maybe more emphasis on some games that you feel like you have to win. But hey, they all matter. Results matter. Losing this game today absolutely matters. Losing 3 in a row absolutely matters. Having said that, this is a game that, unless your name is Michael Grove, which nothing anybody can tell Michael right now is going to get him to just be able to move on and just forget about this performance. He's too competitive. He's going to feel terrible about this. And the thing about, I don't want to call it failure. That's too big of a word, because you're a major leaguer. There is no such thing. As far as a performance here, a rough performance that he had, the thing about that is, whenever you're ultra competitive like Michael is, and I've seen him play football, I've seen him all the way back at West Virginia, I know how competitive he is. Those type of people, they use these situations as fuel to their fire. There's a saying that I like to use that, hey, turn your frustration into motivation. When you're frustrated, make you so motivated to go back and work that it actually makes you better. No doubt that will happen with Michael Grove. I have no doubt about it. But like I said, there's nothing you can tell him tonight, I'm sure, that could make him feel better about it. So unless your name is Michael Grove, this is just simply a game of the 162 that, although they all matter, this one matters the same as the rest. There's nothing you can do to change it. So you just simply wipe it out of your mind as fast as you can. You throw it in the trash can. You don't look at the tape. You don't look at the video. You don't evaluate it. You don't even think about it after you take your shower tonight and you get cleaned up. You put on your clothes. You go out and eat. And by the time you do all that and you head to San Francisco, it's wiped clean in your mind, and you come up with a new clean slate, and you go try to beat the Giants. Every time you play them, that's how you approach this. Simply put, that's the only way that you can do this. There's no other way you can, because there's nothing really to sit around and dwell on. It just wasn't a good matchup. It wasn't a good 3 games. It wasn't a good pitching performance today. The offense was good at times, so there are things to build on. You know, in baseball, the thing about it is over 162, I say this a lot, but it's such a game of failure that it's so easy to fall into negative traps. You know, it's just very easy to fall into the, oh my goodness, I have the worst luck in the world, or woe is me. If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. That kind of thing. Or, oh, I'm terrible. Am I ever going to get a hit again? Are we ever going to win another game? Oh, he sucks or she sucks. It's easy to point fingers. It's real easy to fall into that trap in the game of baseball because it is such a game of failure. You got to fight that off, and that's why, and Doc will do a great job of this. These moments right here are when he's at his best because he is such a positive person, and he is so well received by the players. His message, I promise you, it will be, hey guys, go eat dinner, shower up, let's get on the plane, let's get to San Francisco, and let's completely forget about this game, and let's do our best to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's how they'll deal with it. So, not a good 3 games of baseball and the 3-game losing streak. But again, the great thing about baseball, at least one of the many great things about baseball, is that you get to play again tomorrow. And hey, if there's a football team and you had to wait another 6 days to play another game, I've been in that scenario. That is miserable. Having to wait 6 days in those practices, it eats at you. But baseball, you get to get back on the field the next day, unless you're Michael Grove. That pitching scenario is kind of like the football scenario where you don't get back on the mound for another 4 days or so. So unless you're Michael Grove, the great thing about it is you get to get back on the field tomorrow, and you get to wipe all those things clean, and you get to focus on some of the things that have been going well, try to eliminate the things that haven't, but by and large, just move on. So, hey, leave your thoughts about this 3-game losing streak. What are some of the good things you've seen? What are some of the things, like I say, always intelligent, mature conversation. What are the things that you would like to see, fixed, as far as what are some of the things that you think the Dodgers need to start doing to start winning more games and start looking like a world championship team this year? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to talk Dodgers baseball. I could talk Dodgers baseball every day and twice on Sunday. So, hey, leave your thoughts and let me know what you think. Okay, we're going to move on now to our minor league section of today's show. And, there were only 2 teams that were in action. Rancho Cucamonga was not in action. Neither was Tulsa. So AAA Oklahoma City, they had a comeback win. And Great Lakes, they just couldn't quite muster a whole lot of offense, but there were some good performances in that game that we're going to get to. So, hey, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's take a trip down on the farm. The Loons gave up 2 runs in the top of the first inning and then gave up 2 runs in the 6th inning, and that was all that Lansing was going to need as the Lugnuts defeated the Loons 4-2. This is Justin Wrobleski, and I'll tell you what, this is his first full season as a professional. Like I said, he gave up the 2 runs in the first inning, and I'm sure he was hyped up. I'm sure he was nervous. I got to see him a lot at Oklahoma State. This young man is absolute dynamite. He's going to turn heads, and I'm telling you, after he settled in, after that first inning, after he got the nerves out, after, that first professional full season start for High A Advanced Great Lakes, I'm sure he had a lot of nerves. Like I said, after he got settled in, completely dominant. He struck out the side in the 2nd inning and then went absolute blanks after that, did not allow anything after the first inning. So he went 4 innings. He gave up 3 hits. He gave up those 2 runs in the first inning, and then he walked 1, but then he struck out 5. And like I said, he struck out the side in the 2nd inning with absolutely dominant stuff. He was 96 on the day. There was not a whole lot of offense for Great Lakes. As a matter of fact, griffinlockwoodpowell kept the Loons from getting shut out in the 9th inning by hitting a double to actually score a run. Just 5 hits. Lockwoodpowell was the only hitter to have more than 1 on the day. He actually had 2 hits. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But again, Great Lakes, they lost 4-2 today to go to 0-3 on the season, and it has mostly been a lack of offense in the cold in Midland, Michigan. It was actually a nice day today, about 60 degrees. But yeah, hey, this is Justin Wrobleski again that you're seeing here. Again, he was, after the first inning, after he got settled in, very, very, very good. He has stuff that's about 96. He worked in the offseason. I had a chance to talk to him about reshaping his slider to make it a little bit bigger, to, you know, just kind of give a bigger look right there. That slider, he made that right there. He made it bigger. Look how big that slider was, that sweeper to the back foot. Very good pitch for him. So Justin Wrobleski, dynamite young left-hander. Keep an eye on him. Braydon Fisher made his second appearance of the year. As a matter of fact, he made 2 appearances, as Brad Tunney said on the play-by-play here. He made 2 appearances before some guys made their first appearance. And I'll tell you what, look at this curveball in this video. And a kind of funny part about that is he was actually trying to right there, that curveball. He was trying to develop a slider last year, and his pitching coaches kept telling him, well, he was trying to add depth to it, and they kept saying, hey, you know, just because it was kind of cutterish looking, and they said, well, just kind of throw it like you're try to throw it like a curveball. So he went like 6 days. There's another one. He was making rain. So for about 6 days in spring training last year, he worked on his slider and just tried to throw it like a curveball. Hey, the next thing you know, 6 days later, guess what he has? He has a curveball. That one that you're seeing in this video. That's how that pitch actually was developed. And boy, I'll tell you what, Braydon Fisher, you got to root for him. He's fought through injury. He has been with the organization for a while, and he is back, and he is good as ever. He had 3 strikeouts in his 1 1/3 innings this afternoon, and he has not given up a run so far this year in his 2 outings. So Braydon Fisher, the young man out of League City, Texas, comes from a wonderful family. Gotta love the fact, look at that curveball, I love that. Gotta love the fact that he's having so much success early on in 2023. You are looking at Jakepilarski, who has taken the baseball world by storm with his 100, sometimes 101 mile-an-hour fastball. In the 60-degree weather, he did hit the triple digits today, the 100-mile-an-hour mark with his fastball. You know what? He was evicted, of course, out of high school. He grew up in the Pittsburgh area. He went to Division III Virginia Wesleyan. He was there for 4 years, and then, you know, the COVID thing hit in 2020, canceled the season. So then for his last year of college, whenever all the college players got that year back due to COVID, okay, he transferred to the Citadel, and he went D1, did not get drafted after that, okay? So, you know, here's the thing, that 2020 draft was only 5 rounds, so I know a lot of guys that were in his situation, that really good players, you know, affiliated type, talented players, guys that should be on an affiliated, in an affiliated organization somewhere. They're that good. You know, I knew several of those guys, but because that draft was only 5 rounds, there just weren't very many jobs to be had. And what the scouts were telling those guys were, hey, just go play indie ball. Because of the few amount of jobs, we're going to have extra scouts watching these indie ball games. Go to indie ball, perform very well, and you'll get out of it. That's exactly what Jakepilarski did. As a matter of fact, he went to 2 indie ball teams, and he went to Tread Athletics. He started working out, started, you know, working on his body. He was very strong, but he wasn't quite, you know, as agile as he wanted to be. So he became a little bit more flexible. The next thing you know, he's actually hitting 100 miles an hour. The first time he ever saw 100 on a radar was at Tread Athletics. He's 101 now, and the scout that knew him from all the way back in college, that was the one that, you know, kind of gave him the advice that, hey, not a lot of jobs out there. If you go indie, you'll get seen, you'll get out of there if you pitch well. Jonah Rosenthal, eventually when he saw that Pilarski was 100, 101, said, hey, it's time to pull the trigger. He went to his bosses in the Dodgers organization. They all agreed. So there you have it. Now we have Jakepilarski in the system, and he is firing his 100-mile-an-hour bullets for Great Lakes, and he did a great job today going scoreless for the Loons and showing off that fastball. So Jakepilarski, going to be fun to follow him all year. This is Juliansmith right here, and boy, good to see him back on the bump for his first appearance for Great Lakes. Talented left-hander out of Catawba Community College, a young man that grew 3 inches between his senior year in high school and his first year in college, and he gives his college coaches back at Catawba so much credit. They took a 160-pound left-hander and turned him into a draft pick, and now he is thriving in the Dodgers system. If you saw the one spring training performance, just erase that out of your mind. You know, when you have guys like this that are getting their one shot on the main field, there's so many nerves. You're not seeing them in a comfortable setting. I can just tell you, they're nervous, so don't take any of that into account. Juliansmith is very good. You're seeing right here. He was a starter for his whole career. He transitioned to the bullpen after he became a professional, and he absolutely loves it. Look at that big dime right there he dropped. He loves being in the big moments. He loves throwing that high fastball. He loves throwing those dimes right there. Well, that fastball right there, that's pretty explosive. That gets on you pretty good. And look at that curveball breaking away from a lefty. Comes out of the same tunnel. Look at the confidence. I love it that he's able to throw it to that 4 slot to the righties. So a lot of confidence. Good stuff for left-hander Julian Smith. Well, thank goodness Friday night that the Tulsa Drillers had Yorbet Vivas on the roster. Otherwise, they would have been no hit. And thank goodness that the Great Lakes Loon had griffinlockwoodpowell on their team today, as he accomplished several things with this one hit that you're seeing here. That double you're seeing scored the first run of the day, so he kept the Loons from getting shut out. And then it was the first extra base hit of the year for Great Lakes, and he became the first Loon to have a multi-hit day. So this one hit was really big. As a matter of fact, it was only 4-0 at the time, and Great Lakes looked like they might make a rally there towards the end. They did not quite do it, so they dropped to 0-3, but Griffinlockwoodpowell had a big day, 2 hits. He got the only RBI for the Loons, the only multi-hit game of the year, and the first extra base hit for Great Lakes of 2023. Hunter Feduccia had a huge day for Oklahoma City. He hit this big home run. Then he actually had the RBI in the 10th inning that gave the lead to the Oklahoma City Dodgers, that Nick Robertson was in the game at the time pitching. He had a scoreless top of the 9th inning, so Robertson got the win. Wandersuero came in and got the save. I'll tell you what, Hunter Feduccia has had a good year so far. Oklahoma City, I tell you what, I've mentioned that Tulsa might be the most talented minor league team in all of the minor league baseball system. But I tell you what, Oklahoma City so far has been the funnest team to watch. They have come from behind seemingly every single game. They've had 2 walk-offs. They have, this series in Las Vegas has been fantastic. They did lose 1 game, but they won 5 of the 6 games in Las Vegas. So, hey, they've only lost 2 games so far on the year. They're 7-2, and it's seeming like all 7 wins have been dramatic. Boy, look at the leverage that Feduccia got on that home run. And again, Oklahoma City's fallen behind in these games, like 4 or 5 runs, and then stormed right back to win. They fell behind 5-0 today. They gave up 3 runs in the first and then single runs in the second and third. And then the bullpen, the rest of the way, gave up nothing for Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City then tacked on 4 in the 5th inning, 1 in the 5th, and then scored the 1 run. Hunter Feduccia got the base hit in the 10th inning, the game-winning hit to give the Oklahoma City Dodgers the win. So Hunter Feduccia, boy, I'll tell you what, he's having a great start to 2023. This was his 2nd home run. This was hit 104.6 miles an hour. It traveled 451 very happy feet. Feduccia is now hitting 286. His OPS is 912, and it's approaching 1,000. Actually, it's higher than that now if you average in that base hit that he got in the 10th inning. So he's probably over 300 at this point. His OPS is probably around 1,000 at this moment, since, like I said, that the numbers I just gave you did not add in his last hit that he got, the game-winning hit, and that's coming off of a very, very, very good spring training. So Hunter Feduccia making waves. He is knocking on the door at making the Los Angeles, the administration and the management for Los Angeles think seriously about, hey, what do we do with this guy, because he's playing so good at AAA. Is he playing well enough to get enough attention, to get some consideration to go up? And, of course, obviously LA has Austin Barnes and Will Smith, so what do you do with him? He seems blocked, but he's playing so well that it'll be interesting to see if he gets some consideration to go up with the big club, here in 2023. This is Taylerscott. I love his 3/4 slot, of course. I don't love that pitch. That one got away from him right there. I don't like to do highlight reels. I like to do every pitches of an inning. I think that gives the viewer and somebody actually wanting to watch how somebody's doing. If you just give them a highlight reel, you can make anybody and anything look good. So if you throw out every pitch of an inning, although sometimes it doesn't look as pretty, I think it gives, a more accurate description to the viewer as far as how some, look at that little cutter pitch. I love that pitch from a 3/4 slot. That's just a really good pitch from Taylerscott. So you're getting every pitch of the inning that he threw here. So you make your own evaluation. That ride and run to that 4 seems very good to pair off that ride and that carry on the boy, and then he's able to hit that 4 slot on the outer half, and it looks like a slingshot. I like the way that the ball comes out of Taylor Scott's 3/4 slot. I like the way that when he hung that one just a touch, but I like the way he's able to throw that as kind of a cutter slider type pitch. I like the way he can locate, and he has not allowed a run in his 2 regular season outings. Okay, this fastball, this 4-seam you're seeing was 94 today, and he had that slider. I'm calling it cutter slash slider pitch. It's hard to tell, and he also had a changeup as well. So 3 pitches for Taylor Scott. You know, and like I said, he's been very good. He has a unique arm slot. So if he keeps pitching like this, it'll be interesting to see, you know, if he, you know, we talked about that with Hunter Feduccia. If he keeps throwing well like this, of course, the Dodgers have other guys as far as Oklahoma City AAA that have thrown really well in the bullpen as well. So it's kind of like, hey, anything you can do, I can do better. But, hey, Taylor Scott off to a really good start in 2023. I know Dodgers fans will be interested in seeing this video because this is Victor Gonzalez, and remember how good he was in 2020. Then he fought the injuries last year. He's trimmed down his body. Looks fantastic to start 2023 here. Okay, he struck out 3 in his inning and a third today, and he did not allow a run. He was 96 on the fastball, okay? And, you know, he threw a sinker. The pitch you're seeing here, he threw a sinker for every pitch except for one. And when you're throwing a 96-mile-an-hour sinker that has movement to it like Victor Gonzalez is, it's left-handed, it has major league experience to it. That's something that needs to catch your attention if you're a Dodgers fan. So, hey, is Victor Gonzalez back? Is he ready to help the big club like we've seen him do in the past? He looked very good today. He struck out 3 again. Out of the 4 outs he recorded, 3 were strikeouts today, and he did not allow a run. Tell you what, this is Michaelbusch, and he is just an absolutely fantastic hitter. He had 3 more hits today. He's now hitting .333 on the season for AAA Oklahoma City. And in spring training, I'll tell you what, he hit .321. So he's hitting .333 in the regular season so far. He hit .321 in spring training. His OPS in spring training was .1013. He has hits in 4 games in a row. He has hits in 7 of his last 8. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep screaming it from the mountaintops. Michaelbusch is spinning his wheels in AAA Oklahoma City. He needs to be getting major league at-bats. He needs 300 major league at-bats, and he would show everybody that he's one of the best offensive players in the system. This dude's hit tool is absolutely fantastic. Michaelbusch's is, you know, so, hey, where are the opportunities going to come for him? I'll tell you what, you know, there's a couple of, I talk about all the time whenever, you know, in my opinion, he should be getting major league at-bats, but you're still in AAA. There's a couple of options. Hey, you can get kind of mad about it and upset and kind of get pouty about it and complain, or you can just keep showing up every day and doing your daily process and keep your nose to the grindstone and keep working your butt off and keep doing your job, which is what Michaelbusch has done. You know, so fantastic job for the young man that went to the University of North Carolina, originally from Minnesota. He was an all-state quarterback on his football team. He's an all-state shortstop. He played hockey, so he's very tough. You know, he is a leader being the quarterback and the shortstop. Then he went to North Carolina, and, you know, he was a shortstop in high school. Go to North Carolina, they're winning national titles, so as a true freshman, he wants to play. The only spot that's available on the entire team is first base. They know how good he hits, so they're like, hey, can you play first base? And he's like, hey, anything to get in the lineup. So he ended up playing first base, and he hit so well that he stayed there, and they had enough guys where they didn't really need to move him. Tom Holliday coached him, Randy Whistler, in the Cape Cod League. They moved him to second base. The Dodgers have been kind of playing him back and forth. They've tried a little bit in left field, just trying to give him some versatility. I know they've hit him some ground balls at third base, just trying to figure out, hey, somewhere on the field, look how still his head stays and how he gets through that ball. Just a great hitter. Just trying to make him as versatile and create as many positions on the field to figure out a way to get his bat to the major league level, because that's where it needs to be, in my opinion, for left-handed hitting Michaelbusch. You know, I talk pretty highly of Nick Robertson just about every time. Well, not just about every time that I throw up a video on him or he's in one of my Dodgers Daily podcasts. But I'll tell you what, today he was even better than normal. I mean, he was really, really good today. He was not, look at that four-seam fastball right into the hands of a lefty. He needed just 14 pitches to sit down Las Vegas. Boy, now look at that ball. And that ball actually was listed as a sinker. He doesn't throw a sinker, at least last time I talked to him. He said he does not. Okay, and he got the win in this game. His ERA on the year is just 169, and check this one out. He struck out 10 hitters so far and walked none. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. That four-seam from Nick Robertson, it gets on hitters. He's so long, he has good extension. He hides the ball, then he has good whip at the end of his delivery. And so it gets on hitters, you know, faster than they really have, than they realize, and faster than they have time to react. And it's just that fastball is a good pitch, and he pairs that with that changeup you saw right there, and his slider that is a very, very good pitch. So, hey, 94, 95. He'll heat that thing up to 96 here before too long. He might touch 97 every now and then. That's what he's done in the past. And again, just 14 pitches, so very efficient. Got the win today. ERA of just 1.69, and again, 10 strikeouts, no walks on the year for Nick Robertson. Boy, Wandersuero has been in absolute lockdown mode this year. That cutter, I'll tell you what, he has been the master at inducing weak contacts. As a matter of fact, his ERA so far in the regular season is just 1.80. Okay, and his average against is just 133. And then in spring training, his ERA was 0.99. His average against was just 195, and his whip was just 0.99. You know, he doesn't throw the ball through a brick, and as far as comparatively to some of the other arms the Dodgers have, you know, he's 91, 92, 93, something like that. But that thing cuts, and then it rides up and in. So you have that cut kind of that turns left, and you had a little bit of ride to it as well. And so he kind of has two different turns to it, and, you know, it just induces weak contact like you saw right there. It just never seems like, as far as this year goes, hitters have been able to barrel him up. So Wandersuero, he has been in lockdown mode. We all know that he has major league experience, and so it'll be interesting to see if the bullpen struggles for the Dodgers. Hey, who will be the first round of guys that get called up to LA to get the first shot to shore up the bullpen? You would have to think Wandersuero at least would be in that conversation with his major league experience. Certainly when you combine the statistics that he's been able to put together so far in spring training and the regular season to this point. So Wandersuero, he came in, you know, Nick Robertson held Las Vegas scoreless in the 9th inning, and then Oklahoma City Hunter Feduccia got the base hit to score Ryan Ward, who was the ghost runner to start the 10th inning. So Oklahoma City took the 1-run lead. Las Vegas had the ghost runner that started on second, and Suero stranded that runner and got the save. So Nick Robertson, the win, Wandersuero, the save, Hunter Feduccia, the game-winning hit. So there you have it. There's all the action from the system today. And like I said earlier, Los Angeles, disappointing game. Hey, they all matter. Results matter. You know, this game matters the same as any game later in the season. But I'll tell you what, in 162, the only thing you really can do, and I think the message in the clubhouse is going to be, hey, guys, take a shower, go get you some dinner, get on the plane, and let's just erase this game from our memory. Let's not even look at any of the video. Let's not harp on any of it. Let's just forget about it and move on tomorrow to the San Francisco Giants. It's going to be a different climate. You're going from the desert all the way to San Francisco, so you're going to be going from a place that you darn near were wearing shorts to a place that you're going to need to bundle up. So that's going to be an adjustment, going from one climate to the next. But again, I think today, like I said, I'm not saying to just discount it. It doesn't matter, because it absolutely does. Results matter, and, you know, winning and losing matters at any point in the season, whether it be one game or however many games it is. But like I said, I think, you know, whenever you're trying to deal with trying to stay away from finger pointing and negativity and all that, the best way to approach that is just to simply move on and just, you know, try to forget this one and move on tomorrow. So, okay, again, Oklahoma City had a big comeback victory again, and then Great Lakes, they're struggling to score, but that's typical because it's cold in Midland, Michigan, you know, so you're dealing with guys that it takes a minute to get going, and we saw that last year that Great Lakes got hot, and then eventually they had the big comeback to win the first, you know, the first half, what do we say, the Midwest League division title of the first half last year, which qualified them for the playoffs. So, hey, Great Lakes will start hitting here in a minute. When they do, they'll get hot, and they'll be right back to where they need to be. So, hey, I'm glad that you tuned into this show. And just one more reminder before we get out of here. If you like this video and if you like this kind of content, go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment, tell all your friends about Dodgers Daily, become a subscriber, and after you subscribe, click that notification bell. That way, every time Dodgers Daily releases a new video, you'll be notified, and Dodgers Daily can keep growing, and we can keep providing you videos like this in the future, as we'd love to do. As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in and say, go Dodgers.